Just one day after leading indirect nuclear talks with Iran in Oman, US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and White House senior advisor Jared Kushner made a high-profile visit to the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea on February 7th. Accompanied by US Central Command Commander Admiral Brad Cooper, the pair met with sailors and Marines aboard the Nimitz-class vessel, which deployed to the region in late January. Witkoff characterized the visit as a demonstration of President Trump's policy of peace through strength. Both Iran and Oman received advance notification of the trip. This visit carries significant weight on multiple fronts. The USS Abraham Lincoln's presence in the region serves a critical function, protecting vital oil shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil transits through this narrow waterway, with US sanctions having slashed Iran's oil exports by over 90% since 2018, markets remain on edge, and any disruption here would have global ramifications. Beyond economics, the carrier visit reinforces American alliances throughout the Gulf region. Countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE host US forces as a counterweight to Iranian influence, which extends through proxy groups in Yemen, Lebanon, and Iraq. But the timing has sparked debate. The visit appears to be a calculated move to apply pressure during nuclear negotiations, where the central issue is Iran's uranium enrichment levels. Washington seeks major curbs to Tehran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. By showcasing military capabilities immediately after diplomatic talks, the administration may be signaling impatience and leverage. However, this approach cuts both ways. It could compel Iran to negotiate more seriously, recognizing the military costs of defiance, or it could backfire, hardening Tehran's position against what it perceives as coercion, making trust building even more difficult after last year's US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. The move has drawn sharply different reactions. US officials defend the carrier visit as necessary deterrence that strengthens America's bargaining position. Witkoff emphasized it honors service members who uphold regional stability, fully consistent with the Trump administration's maximum pressure strategy that brought Iran to the negotiating table in the first place. Supporters point out that both sides remain committed to resuming talks. Critics tell a different story. Some Democrats in Congress argue the timing risks unnecessary provocation. Iranian state media condemned it as saber-rattling, with Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warning that such displays contradict calls for calm dialogue. Opponents worry it could push Iran to accelerate uranium enrichment or ramp up proxy activities as a countermeasure. Defense analysts offer a more measured assessment. Experts at the Brookings Institution describe this as maintaining operational readiness without direct confrontation, similar to routine high-level military engagements. Former CENTCOM commander Joseph Votel notes it balances diplomacy with preparedness, particularly given Iran's advanced missile capabilities. The Council on Foreign Relations suggests the visit signals US impatience, which may prompt Iran to seek guarantees against future military strikes. At the same time, if Tehran calculates that military costs outweigh continued defiance, this pressure could actually facilitate interim agreements. This moment didn't emerge in a vacuum. US-Iran tensions have escalated sharply since June 2025, when American forces struck Iranian nuclear sites following alleged violations of enrichment limits. International Atomic Energy Agency data shows Iran's uranium stockpile grew 30% over the past year, far exceeding limits set by the original nuclear agreement. The Oman talks represent the first indirect engagement since President Trump's re-election, mediated by regional states desperate to prevent broader conflict. History offers a cautionary note. Similar carrier visits during negotiations in 2019 preceded temporary de-escalations, but ultimately failed to resolve the core disputes. What happens next remains uncertain. Will this dual-track approach of talks paired with military demonstrations extract meaningful concessions on uranium enrichment, ballistic missiles, and Iran's support for regional proxies? Or will it prolong negotiations, sustain economic strain, and keep global oil markets volatile? Oman, serving as mediator, may view the carrier visit as complicating its neutral role. Israel could interpret it as tacit American support for more aggressive preemptive actions against Iranian nuclear sites. For now, both sides have committed to resuming negotiations.